So, believe it or not, I played football in high school. Yeah, me, lifelong musician guy. I didn't say I played football well. I started on the freshman team and was quickly relegated to backup by junior varsity. But I remember sophomore year on the JV team, we were doing a hit drill, which for those of you who don't know means that two guys run at each other and try and get the other guy to the ground. It's a very celebrated masculine part of football. And I remember there was a point in that drill where one kid hit another kid really hard and he hit the ground and the whole team around us started whooping and hollering and celebrating it. And our defensive line coach, who was running the drill, turned to all of us impressionable young men in this teaching moment and said, "Fellas, I swear to God, if you hit somebody hard enough, you're going to pop wood." Seriously, to young men, not even adults yet. A mentor was explicitly equating violence with sexuality. And at the time, I was 15. I didn't think about it that much other than to think, well, that was weird. It wasn't until much later and the Ray Rice story broke that I began to think about it more deeply. Ray Rice was a star NFL running back who was suspended for 2 games by the NFL for a domestic violence incident. And then after that 2-game suspension, full video of the incident of him knocking his partner unconscious in an elevator came out. And he ended up being suspended indefinitely because there was video evidence now. And I just remember thinking, wow, how many coaches like mine did Ray Rice have over the course of his football career? Because unlike me, Ray Rice was good. He had all sorts of people whispering in his ear, not to mention paychecks, sponsorships, all sorts of external validation that was telling him that his success in life, his stature as a man, was equated specifically to his ability to do violence. And when we socialize men to think that way, of course, they're going to try and solve what they think are issues in their lives that way. I think there are a lot of men out there right now who are confused by the signals that society is sending them. On the one hand, there is this ancient primal impulse to dominate a foe and to prove that you're the real man in the situation, the better man by doing so. And that's an impulse that's been socialized and perpetuated by society since the dawn of time. On the other hand, there's these new progressive social justice ideas that push back against that specifically and call that toxic. I think there are a lot of men who feel caught in the middle of that, and when they don't feel like they can live up to these new progressive ideals of what it means to be a man, they run hard in the other direction. And while I don't sympathize with that logic, I do think there is a way to empathize with it. Born Mad is a song about a young man who's running in the other direction because society is telling him he's not enough. He can't live up to the new ideals of the world around him. But there are people on TV, on the internet, who are telling him that he doesn't need to do that. That in fact, all those people are wronging him. And in some cases, they're telling him he should take vengeance upon the people who are wronging him. Of course, those media figures are taking that message all the way to the bank, right? Capitalizing off of his pain and perhaps even the pain that he might eventually cause others. And again, in no way am I condoning his mindset or saying I agree with it. But I do think we have to find a way to empathize with somebody who thinks that way, to understand it before it turns into something more toxic. And God knows it seems to turn into something toxic every day on the news, whether it's the way people are behaving on TV or almost always the young men who bring guns to schools or other public places and try and prove their manliness that way. We have to empathize with those people and the way that they are experiencing society before they turn to that type of terrible, irrational, criminal action. And this is my attempt to do so. Thanks again for listening. This has been yet another episode of Something About Nothing. We've got 2 more songs to talk about and some other topics to address too. So stay tuned. Thanks again.